Get out, or
Get out!
Tucked between 5 different mountain ranges in the Sonoran Desert, Tucson is a mid-sized city with wide open spaces in an area known as the Arizona Sun Belt, known for having 286 plus days of sunshine. A setting typically known for its blisteringly hot summers, the outdoor recreation here is just like the environment in which the city resides, vast and far-reaching. From the Saguaro National Park to the west, to the numerous recreational areas in the rincons to the east, there is a myriad of active and athletic opportunities. There's more cultural nuances offered within the city limits. The title of a UNESCO City of Gastronomy holds 4,000-year-old implications, a notably verdant ecosystem within its setting, a world-class resort complex to soak up the sun. It's all readily available for your visit here. The first destination is a short drive away from the Tucson airport, and likely a quick stop, unless you're up to some kind of shenanigans that I would most certainly not advise on this travel video series.
It's crazy. I remember being like 8 or 9 years old, and more than half of my classmates had these stickers on their binders. And they were a very big cultural phenomenon back in the 90s and early 2000s even.
After its original market base grew up, the Lisa Frank brand became a novelty of the past. By 2015, the factory that once employed hundreds of people had dwindled down to just a few employees, and ultimately led to the closing of its doors. The factory is still up for sale as of now, and in the meantime its once vibrant color scheme has been getting bleached out by the incessant Arizona sun. Stop by Tohono Chul to see more types of cactus than you ever knew existed, as well as a variety of flowering plants, succulents, and agave. Tohono Chul is considered one of the great botanical gardens by Travel and Leisure magazine, and is most certainly a wholehearted embracing of the Sonoran Desert landscape. It all feels very genuine. The park also offers a variety of art installations and galleries, educational courses and shows, as well as a bistro and cafe. Tucson has been consistently ranked one of the top bicycle-friendly cities in the US, from its pedestrian overpasses to its ease of accessibility. If you find yourself within Iron Horse Park, there lies a cycling and walking bridge that spans across Broadway Boulevard. This pedestrian crossing has a peculiar shape of a rattlesnake. Enter through its mouth, leave from its back. It's all a part of the experience, you know?
And how do you know that it's a rattlesnake? Well, because of its tail, of course.
Why don't they make more tubular zoomorphic structures around the world? Even being swallowed by a reptilian predator feels like a much more wholesome experience than simply walking across a bridge. As you continue your walking tour, you might notice that Tucson's grid system consists of streets that run east and west and avenues that run north and south. However, there's also a new, innovative direction of southwest to northeast that Tucson has also implemented into its grid system, and it has its own naming system. These are also known as diagonal streets in other parts of the country.
Which brings us to something unique to Tucson. I present to you the Stravenue.
This was Tucson's solution to naming a small number of diagonal outliers that crossed beyond the limited barriers of simple X and Y vectors, and they only exist in one city in the world. On to the next. The only shrine in the United States that is dedicated to a sinner, the plaque says. This local spot is an homage to a ranch hand named Juan Oliveras, who met his sad demise after rumors of committing adultery surfaced. The shrine is unassuming, but still frequented by visitors who would like to leave candles, notes, photos, and other offerings. About 10 miles south of Tucson is a remote but picturesque mission that sits among the vast desert landscape. The San Javier del Bac mission was established in 1700. Building commenced in 1756, it was then destroyed in 1768, then it was rebuilt in 1783, and completed again in 1797. While the age is shown in the architecture, the structure itself is beautifully immaculate and one of the most quality representations of Spanish colonial architecture in the US. It's free to enter too, which is an extra perk, so long as you're willing to take the drive. While closed at the time, the Cathedral of St. Augustine is also a cool building to visit and take in, including the pavilion outside. Head to the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures if you're looking to develop an appreciation for assiduous detail. Each model in this museum has so much to take in, from the wallpaper patterns down to the tiny model toy that sits atop the 2-inch tall bedside table of the figurine's bed. You could spend hours getting into the nitty-gritty of just one single model here, and truth be told, since everything is behind glass, the photos and videos that I took just don't do it justice.
These didn't get made last year either. These are from the 1800s. Wild.
There's also a rotating special exhibition here. At the time for me, it was the work of a Colombian lady who constructed models inside the Eye of Needles. Just in case the mini houses aren't small enough for you. Just west of Interstate 10, you'll notice a mountain. I'll see myself out. This is also known as Sentinel Peak, and it makes for an excellent sunset hike when the temperature starts to drop a little. You can drive pretty much 90% of the way up, albeit along a precarious mountainside road, and then take a walk the rest of the way up, stopping at the benches as needed. At the summit, you'll be able to take in the vastness of the city's desert landscape with 4 different mountain ranges viewable in the outskirts. As I was only in Tucson for a weekend and felt the need to experience and patronize as much as possible in the name of travel journalism, I decided, what better stress-relieving activity than to try to pack in a 4-hour hike that was an hour away right before my midday flight out. Naturally, there's plenty of hikes in the Saguaro National Park area, but the one I picked was off of the King Canyon Trailhead, right across from the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. It's a well-trekked loop hike that takes you to the top of Wasson Peak, so long as you follow the well-marked arrows along the way.
So, if you're thinking that you're going the right direction and it's not what the sign says, go the direction the sign says anyways.
The slight detour created a bit of time pinch in my plans, but, and now I will say this unironically, it was still definitely worth the hike. On the way back into town off the left side of the road, you may spot the Tucson Mineral and Gem World, marked by a decently tall T-Rex that stands guard outside. Take a look at the geodes, crystals, fossils, and more without the museum entry fee. The shop contains all sorts of wild artifacts beyond rocks and minerals, despite the name, and can get pretty odd if you have time to inspect the shelves for outliers. This was my last stop on my trip to Tucson before arriving back at the airport for an early afternoon departure. Whatever it may be that brings you here, you're certainly not going to end up bored. The small town vibe with the large city amenities rings true within this city, and in this case, it's best to just get out there and explore.